Where are Charlie's parents? Who are Charlie's parents? I think that is a question that we have all asked. Matter of fact, let me just take it a step further. Where are his cousins?
Now she's saying that the kids aren't even Charlie's. So basically, Erica Kirk was left with no will money, no merch sale money, nothing after Charlie Kirk was assassinated. He put that his children are going to get all the money.
Hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private.
Welcome to Behind the Fame, and thank you for being here. Your support truly helps this channel grow and keeps these deep dives coming. Now let's break down what really happened. So now it looks like Charlie Kirk's parents have officially stepped away from the custody fight with Erica, and people are stunned by the timing. This isn't being framed online as them giving up or not caring. The narrative circulating is much more explosive. According to rumors spreading across social media, an alleged DNA result may have changed everything overnight. The claim, and again, this is a claim circulating online, not a confirmed court finding.
I intentionally, when I was pregnant, hid. Not because I was embarrassed. Not because I didn't want anyone. Yes, we did keep it very private. But it's because it was a moment very sacred. I was growing a human inside of me. My baby.
Is that a DNA test reportedly showed the children were not biologically Charlie's, which would mean his parents had no legal standing to continue a custody challenge. That's the rumor currently shaking timelines. Some viewers are shocked. Others say the signs were there all along. Critics point to the absence of publicly shared maternity photos, resurfaced personal clips from Erica's past, and what they describe as inconsistencies in the family timeline. For months, people have debated whether Erica and Charlie actually had children together in the way it was publicly presented, or whether parts of the story never fully lined up.
Yo, whose kids are these? Whose kids are these? Erica Kirk provided this as proof of where she was.
Now that Charlie's parents have reportedly stepped back, leaving Erica to face the public scrutiny alone, speculation is intensifying. What once felt like a closed chapter is being reopened in real time. And that leads to a bigger question echoing across comment sections. Did Charlie ever have doubts himself? If there were concerns, were they ever addressed privately behind closed doors? Here's where things escalate. Some online commentators argue that Erica unintentionally fueled speculation during a widely discussed CBS interview. In that interview, she openly mentioned that she hid during her pregnancies. That single word triggered an avalanche of online reactions. The moment it aired, people started asking why someone would feel the need to hide during pregnancy, especially someone connected to public life. Was it simply about privacy, or did that word carry more weight than intended? No official confirmation supports the more extreme interpretations. But once the clip circulated, the internet didn't just react. It investigated. Timelines were reviewed. Archived posts resurfaced. Old interviews were clipped and reanalyzed. Erica's explanation was straightforward.
Hi.
Hi.
Good morning, America.
I've lived in China. I've lived in Chongqing. I've been to Romania. I've been to Croatia. Lived in Puerto Rico for a little bit. Really handsome.
You look gorgeous.
She kept her pregnancies private to protect her peace and shield her family from unnecessary attention. That's a choice many public figures make. But critics point to what happened afterward. Following Charlie's death, Erica did not retreat from public life. Instead, she appeared in interviews, memorial footage, social media posts, and public events. She shared emotional stories, posted personal moments, including a video going through toys sent by supporters, and remained visibly active. To some observers, that shift created a contradiction. If privacy was essential during pregnancy, why step fully into the spotlight later? Supporters argue those are two completely different contexts. One is pregnancy, the other is preserving a legacy. Critics argue the contrast raises legitimate questions, and that contrast became fuel for the DNA rumor. Some online voices began speculating that pregnancies may have been kept hidden for reasons beyond privacy, perhaps to avoid scrutiny or uncomfortable questions. There is no verified evidence supporting that claim, but once that theory entered the conversation, it spread quickly. Then came the ultrasound clip that reignited everything. On the surface, the video appeared to confirm pregnancy, but viewers zoomed in and noticed the name displayed on the screen read Erica FPE, rather than Erica Kirk.
I will never forget the time I was in Israel with my husband, that was the second time, but the first time with my mother on a pilgrimage. and I was standing in the ticket line. And I remember looking behind me, and in the snake of the ticket line was a guy who looked very familiar. I had no idea who he was. And I told my mom, this guy looks so familiar. And as a typical mother, she said, go and say hi. No, we were late for our flight, and I'm not going to come off like a crazy person that's just weird. That ended up being Charlie. Nothing is by coincidence. Now, did we know that? No, not until we were like 3 months into our relationship and looking.
That small detail sparked massive online threads. People immediately began asking, was that a maiden name, a registration error, an old medical file, or something else? To be fair, ultrasound systems display whatever name is entered at intake. Administrative variations happen frequently. But in a climate already filled with suspicion, even minor inconsistencies can feel amplified. Online investigators dissected the frame pixel by pixel. Since marrying Charlie, Erica has publicly gone by Erica Kirk and embraced a traditional Christian wife image as part of her public brand. That identity became central to how she was presented. So now, with Charlie's parents reportedly stepping back and the DNA rumor circulating, everything is being viewed through a heightened lens. It's critical to separate rumor from fact here. There has been no public court confirmation of DNA findings. There has been no verified legal statement confirming the biological status of the children. But perception drives public discourse. Right now, the internet is asking, was this all misunderstanding and coincidence? Or is there more to the story than what's been publicly shared? Drop your thoughts below. Do you think the speculation has gone too far? Or do the unanswered questions justify deeper scrutiny? If you found this breakdown helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone following the story. I'll see you in the next one. So when viewers noticed that the ultrasound screen didn't clearly display the surname Kirk, it immediately stood out to some of them. To critics, it felt inconsistent with the public identity she had so carefully built after marrying Charlie. Since she consistently referred to herself as Erica Kirk or Mrs. Kirk in interviews and appearances, even a small variation on a medical screen became a talking point. From there, theories began stacking up quickly. Some online users suggested she may have used a previous name on medical records for personal or administrative reasons. Others speculated that perhaps the timeline of her relationships was more layered than the public understood. It's important to repeat, none of these ideas have been officially proven. But once the internet locks onto a detail, especially in a case already surrounded by scrutiny, it tends to dissect it from every angle. Then another clip resurfaced and added fuel to the discussion. A 2015 rally video showed Erica standing beside her former partner Tyler J.T. Massey at a political event. What drew attention wasn't just that they were together, it was the presence of a young child standing between them. Viewers began analyzing body language and posture, describing what they saw as familiar or close. Some even labeled it family energy, though that's purely subjective interpretation based on a short clip. That single video reignited questions about whether Erica may have had a previous family dynamic that wasn't widely discussed before she married Charlie. Again, that is speculation, not confirmed fact. But at that point, online observers were already deep into timeline comparisons. Soon after, old photos began circulating, images showing Erica with two different children. In one photo, she's holding a young blonde girl that followers recognized from more recent appearances. In another, she appears alongside an older, dark-haired girl. On their own, these photos don't prove anything. People can be photographed with relatives, family friends, or children connected through many different circumstances. But in the middle of growing rumors, the images raised additional questions rather than closing them. And then things layered even further. A 15-minute audition tape resurfaced showing Erica and an ex trying out for The Amazing Race. The footage wasn't new, it had existed online before, but the timing of its reappearance made it trend again. Critics argued the tape suggested she maintained past connections longer than previously understood. Supporters countered that it was simply old content from before her marriage, being reinterpreted through a suspicious lens. What's undeniable is that once those clips and photos began circulating together, the narrative became more complicated. In the audition tape, Erica and her ex appear playful, flirtatious, and physically comfortable with each other. They joke, banter, and share energy that feels familiar and established. To some viewers, it didn't look like two people casually reconnecting. It looked like a relationship with history and emotional closeness. What intensified the reaction was the timeline people attached to it. Around that general period, Erica had publicly described herself as single, focused, and committed to discipline in preparation for her future husband. So, when audiences saw the chemistry in the audition footage, many felt the contrast was difficult to reconcile. To them, it didn't look like a brief, distant chapter. It looked active and engaged. Because of that perception, critics argued it seemed unlikely someone could close such an emotionally charged relationship and transition fully into a completely different public identity within just a few years. Supporters strongly disagree, pointing out that people change, relationships end, and personal growth can be rapid and genuine. Additional resurfaced references suggested Erica may have dated more than one person during her years in New York before marrying Charlie. None of those claims are officially confirmed. But once multiple elements, ultrasound name questions, rally footage, photos with children, audition tapes, started circulating together, the pattern some viewers believed they saw kept the conversation alive. At this stage, the debate isn't just about individual clips, it's about perceived consistency. Are these simply old fragments being stitched together in a suspicious climate? Or do they point to a version of the timeline that was never fully transparent? That's where the conversation sits right now. Some see coincidence and internet overreach. Others see unanswered questions. We've already touched on Erica's past relationship with JT Massey, which is something online speculation keeps circling back to. What many viewers point out is that, by Erica's own earlier descriptions, that relationship sounded deeply serious. She referred to him in affectionate and glowing terms, calling him an incredible boyfriend, and even her best friend. Statements like that naturally led people to assume it wasn't casual. There were also polished couple-style photos of the two of them that, to many observers, looked similar to engagement portraits. The body language, the setting, the way they were presented, it all gave the impression of a relationship heading towards something long-term. That's why critics say the later shift in her narrative felt abrupt from their perspective. To them, it didn't look like a short relationship that quietly faded away. It looked like a significant chapter that suddenly disappeared from the story. Whether that interpretation is fair or not, once audiences feel that parts of a timeline were downplayed or reframed later, trust starts to weaken. And once credibility becomes a question mark online, every past clip, caption, and interview gets re-examined. That's exactly what happened here. Now, this is where Charlie's parents enter the picture, because ever since Charlie passed, one question kept surfacing. Where were his parents in all of this? People noticed quickly that they were not front and center at the memorial organized by Erica and the TPUSA team. Absence alone doesn't prove conflict. But in high-profile moments, absence gets interpreted. It sparked quiet whispers that something behind the scenes might not be aligned. In the weeks that followed, Erica appeared to be leading tributes, interviews, and decisions connected to Charlie's legacy. Meanwhile, his parents seemed largely out of the public spotlight. Online observers began wondering whether tension may have existed long before the cameras ever turned on. Rumors of friction between Erica and Charlie's family had already circulated, and the optics didn't help. From the outside, some viewers felt it looked like Charlie's parents were watching someone else take control of everything their son built. According to speculation online, they may have also struggled with limited access to the children, the last living connection they had to him. Whether that perception is fully accurate or not, it fueled emotional reactions. Then came another controversial moment. Insiders online alleged that a tent was reconstructed at the location where Charlie lost his life, and that visitors were invited to take photos there. That claim spread quickly and sparked intense reactions. For some, it crossed a line. For others, it was part of memorializing a tragic event. According to circulating narratives, that period marked a turning point where Charlie's parents allegedly began pulling back even further from public involvement. And then the most explosive rumor hit: the alleged DNA result. Once that claim started circulating, the tone of the conversation shifted dramatically. Instead of continuing a visible fight, it appeared Charlie's parents stepped away altogether. Some supporters interpreted that as acceptance. Others viewed it as emotional exhaustion, choosing healing over a battle that had grown deeply complicated. But here's what keeps the story alive. Despite the backlash, despite the theory threads and breakdown videos, Erica has continued moving forward publicly. There hasn't been a visible pause, a direct address, or a major pivot responding to the DNA rumors. Whether she views them as baseless noise or simply refuses to engage with speculation, she has stayed on her current path. And that contrast, silence from Charlie's parents alongside Erica's continued public presence, is exactly why this conversation refuses to fade. At the end of the day, one point many supporters agree on is this: Charlie was a father to those children in every meaningful sense. Biology aside, he showed up. He provided. He built plans for their future. People close to him have said he worked hard to make sure they would always be secure, even if he wasn't there one day. That part of the story doesn't disappear. Where emotions intensify is around what should happen now. Many critics argue this moment should center stability, privacy, and protection for the children as they process loss. For them, this is no longer internet drama. It's about real-life responsibility. Erica remains the central figure people are waiting on. She's the one who could clarify timelines, confirm facts, or directly shut down rumors. Instead, silence has filled that space, and silence almost always invites more speculation. Some argue she doesn't owe the public anything. Others believe that transparency is the only way to end the storm. Meanwhile, the children, who never asked to be part of any of this, are at the center of it all. That's why emotions are running high. This isn't just about old relationships or online theories anymore. It's about legacy, family, and accountability. And here's the wild card. If Charlie's parents ever choose to speak publicly, that could shift everything overnight. So what do you think is really going on here? Are people reading too much into fragments and rumors, or are the unanswered questions too significant to ignore? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's been following the story. I'll see you in the next one.